Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Vincent from Team Monolith, and I'll be talking about the Barbarian changes that has been found in the Datamine for new expansion coming out for Reaper of Souls. You guys may have noticed this, and if you guys have not seen this before, I implore you to check this out as the game progresses. Don't look at, let's say, the content of the story, but look at your class changes, which is going to be a big deal. So let's just I'm gonna try and go through this to get my main point across because the change to Barbarian is actually almost game breaking. So first off, a lot of moves that give you life back, for example, like Bloodthirst, which allowed you to get 3% life back, as all damage you done, sorry, 3% of all your damage done was life back to you. That's been changed to each point of Fury spent heals you for 165 life, and this amount is increased by 1% of your heal globe, so your health globe healing bonus. Which this could be very viable for, let's say, a whirlwind barb that expends Fury all the day, and this will make them super overpowered. However, the problem is many barbarian builds don't really rely on the expending of Fury. Or okay, personally, mine does not. But I know for a fact that most barbarians only have like maybe one hard cooldown that will expend Fury. So this here is not good. And even if you had something that expend Fury, 10 to 1 would be a shout. So again, kind of junk. Um, Moving on, no escape, increased damage of your weapon throw only, and ancient spear, and by 20% against people. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Hold on, sorry. I'm gonna find you. War cry has been increased. Life regeneration has been increased to 1651, which is cool. Ignore pain. Ignore pain is a wonderful like hard cooldown. And even when it's a hard cooldown, it's only 30 seconds, but it's still a long time when you're a melee. And what it does, it reduces all damage taken by 65% for 5 seconds. What they changed though was Mob Rule, which is a rune, and what it did is ignorance is bliss. While ignore pain is active, 20% of the damage you do is dealt will come back to you as life, which is cool, right? However, they changed it, and they changed it to while ignore pain is active, you get 289 life per Fury spent, which is something that I don't think I really care for. Again, another cool. Actually, this is actually a decent little what's the word for it? An update to Ancient Spear, so it gains 200% more damage, and the Fury cost is a lot higher. But what I want to look at here is Dread Spear, which is right here. And what it does is it will expend all your remaining Fury to deal an additional 10% weapon damage for every extra point of Fury expended. This here is actually really cool. I don't mind this. The fact that if you get an extra, like, there's probably a cap, obviously. It probably caps at like 80% or 100%. Because, I mean, there's a lot of Fury points. You can have 100 Fury. So if I put in like all my Fury and I'm like crit for like 1,000%, something's wrong. And this is also an AoE. So let's talk about that for a second. No, I'm not going to talk about it. Moving on though, freeze charge. This is a charge, and you can charge and blah 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 charge. However, the problem is Dreadnought is a wonderful rune that allows you to get 8% of your life back for each hit of your enemies. However, the problem is that they changed it, and all it does now is it just pulls all enemies that are hit to your destination. I don't know why I'd want this to be personally. I play hardcore, and this is not something I want unless for some reason it will be a key factor of me doing this Fury per point life spent bullshit. I don't know. Battle Rage, they added something that I didn't like, and I just know Into the Fray was pretty cool. You get 1% crit chance for each enemy within 10 yards. That's actually pretty decent. I don't mind that. Wrath of Berserker. Every 25, it used to be. Hold on, I'm just gonna find the actual rune. Okay, so Thriving Chaos. Every 25 Fury gained on Wrath of Berserker activates 1 second. Blah blah. So every 25 Fury you used to get for Thriving Chaos would allow you to get an extra second out of this move. They changed it, which means you gain 248 life per Fury spent while under the effects of Wrath of Berserker. So the problem is that they're so focused on this life per Fury spent crap that it doesn't make a barb viable. Hell, like rend. Rend was my favorite move for hardcore. All I had to do was rend a mob and just walk around, maybe do some cleave damage. But I'd rend and use bloodlust because it does 700% damage over time, over 5 seconds, and I get 9% of that damage done as life. That's some broken shit right there, right? That's awesome. It's an AOE bleed, and it was amazing. They changed it though. They changed it to you get 0.5% of the damage done as your maximum life per second of each affected enemy. Okay, I understand that the damage of your moves are going to be so high. However, the problem is though is that you're nerfing us too hard. I didn't want to say it out loud, but you're just nerfing us too hard. This hurts. It really sucks. I mean, they're completely changing the called agents. Or I think three of these are being completely changed. Um, hell, look, Seismic Slam. They finally gave us something I can work with here. This year, gain 2% of your max life for every enemy hit. That is going to be something that I'm gonna have to use now. It can cost 30 Fury, so I'm going to have to use Seismic Slam in conjunction with something that gives me per Fury spent to have something that gives me some life at least. And Seismic Slam's range is only 8 yards. No, hold on. A 4 or 5 yard arc. That's it. It's a 4 or 5 yard arc. And I can hit a lot of things with that, so I'll be making my build a Guerrilla Tactic Charger that's flying over the goddamn place. Moving on. Uh, Whirlwind's been changed. You can no longer move at your movement speed anymore. However, you can actually pull enemies to you, which is kind of good. If you're trying to keep Whirlwind alive, but again, not really something that's viable. Revenge hasn't changed really. They just changed the wording, and that's it. I mean, they added increased your strength, and you can block and attack, and it gives you 20 fury, and you can reduce all damage by 826, and that could be anything. But overall, my future of a barbarian stands at this. I'll be changing my build slightly or completely because I won't have enough life because I used to have a lot of life gain. I'll be changing it to have Seismic Slam as an AoE cone, as well as some sort of Fury spent, because Seismic Slam does expend Fury, and I'm going to have to change my build to gain Fury again. So that's how Barbarians are going to be changed, because it's going to be really hard. It won't be as easy as it would be. And it's going to be back how, again, at the beginning of the game when it first came out, of how Barbarians have a really hard time in Inferno. So again, I'm not a hardcore you know player that plays this game all the time. This is me, and just kind of looking at this and was wondering, what's going to go on after this. This is all I'm doing. Also, oh yeah, fun fact: Ignore Pain has Bravado, and it's a CC break, which is pretty cool. But this is just me kind of looking into the game, into my character, and just having my thoughts. And my thoughts currently is that life per Fury spent is bullshit. And Blizzard really does not need to do this per se. But if they do, they do it, and it really sucks. I will probably make an actual build that I see. Sorry, I'll make a build that will be my hardcore build from this whole malarkey of bullshit, and I'll kind of give the stats and number crunches and whatnot, and see how well it will turn out for me as the game goes on. So this is the Datamine site. Hopefully you guys seen it. If you're not, I'll put the link in the description below. And yeah, this is the Datamine Barbarian, and hopefully it does not stay. But if it does, then we're gonna have to deal with it.